Namaste, and welcome to the new Soul Horoscope SUPERscope. My name is Christopher Witecki. I'm a modern mystic, and I am a soul biographer. That means I'm helping people find their mysticism, find their spirituality, and help them find their story. Because I think if you understand both, you can navigate yourself in the universe. And if you don't know, this is for Librans and Libra risings, but I have a new term for you. You are step sixes. You rule the number 6. Did you know that? Did you know the number 666 is really just 3 Libras standing in a row? Yeah, that's it. Kind of dangerous because, you know, when you have 3 Libras, 3 fair people in a row, that can be kind of dangerous. Yeah, you might have like a good tribunal there. See, when you have 3 impartial people, you can really determine for once and all what is not good on Earth. So that's one of the reasons why there's disinformation about 666. But 6 is your number, and 6 is like basically the balancing of 3 and 3. And so step 6 is what Libra lives all the time. Libra has the ability to like lend 5 points to one side or anything else. So you are so flexible in your ability to relate and connect to others and balance someone else out. So where is the horoscope for the 6s? Well, the Librans are making some pretty strong decisions to be there for themselves emotionally or not. And although career and future and maybe being married and other things seem to take a lot of precedent, the real truth is that right now you have to make a commitment first to your own emotions. And emotion means how you live, who you live around, how you get to experience day to day, and emotion is how you respond to your emotion. So maybe it's time to give yourself permission to be a baby, a permission to be sensitive, a permission to not be strong or have to be strong all the time. Because truly, when you're a 6, you are a person that can be that flexible. Strength comes in your flexibility, not in your ability to stay rigid with yourself. So for the Libras and Libra risings, this week is about making a new decision to feel better, to feel better, to feel better. And when you feel better, everything will work. Think about, back to the rainforest, think about if you're trying to actually be this great judge and jury of all sorts of things, like, you know, whatever Libra do from lawyers to teachers. I mean, I see Libras putting the finishing touches on all people everywhere because they're great at relationships and they're so relatable. And so Libra risings are the same way, so relatable. And in that relatable side of them, it's like anything can get done. But the Libra isn't feeling good, or the Libra rising isn't feeling good. It's like we can see into that. And so you really have to make sure your scales are balanced before you walk out the door. So that's the change going on this week with career. But there's also changes going on with relationships and marriage, and Libras are being asked, and Libra risings, to relate differently, frankly, relate differently to yourself and therefore everyone else. And this is at the same time where you're feeling pretty strong and maybe confident about what you thought was the right way. So there's a lot of changing of direction, changing of guard. There's a lot of old wars ending, new wars, no new wars. I stopped myself there, no new wars. What seemed like more and more, but the truth is anything coming up now is all like the thread unraveling itself. But still, nonetheless, Mars in Libra is, you know, pushing for war for anyone that doesn't get along. And then lastly, you know, raising of self-esteem, raising of soul capital, making money. Big issue. But the issue there is Libras and Libra risings have to draw emotional boundaries with themselves. If you say it's not for free, you can't give it away. So don't think you can manifest, unfortunately, a great job that doesn't take advantage of you if you aren't saying I'm valuable, putting a circle around that. We're going to talk about that too. So that's the introduction to Libras and Libra risings. That was the introduction, folks. See how super this is? You see? All right, so we're going to take a look at the week. Now, as we come out of the weekend, the moon is in Pisces, and so it's a hyper-aware Sunday, it's a hyper-aware Monday, and there's breakthrough going on. What's the breakthrough? You don't like the way you feel. Remember, that's not what it is. You don't like the way you feel. So if you don't like the way you feel, something's got to change, and you are really feeling it in the beginning of the week. Then by the middle of the week, it's time to decide what exactly it is how you do want to feel. And at that point, the moon's in Aries, so strangely enough, you're emotionally focused on, whoops, we want more rainforest. You're emotionally focused on, got to make this animation longer, emotionally focused on relationships as you are making decisions to feel better. So Very likely you are bonded or feel bonded by certain relationships, which is affecting or rocking your emotional boat. And so it's probably a two-part decision, both on relationship part and also on the, I want this ride to stop rocking, right? Whatever you decide Wednesday, you take action Thursday, and then over the weekend, you're going to be holding space and manifesting new. What does the KNEW mean? That means to me what you knew it was supposed to be. And you're going to be very sensitive Thursday through Friday night, Saturday morning, because the moon in Taurus will make you very vulnerable. So you'll probably be kind of alone and by yourself in your own inner space. That's why I'm giving you a little rain here. I'm going to give everyone a little rain today so they can just allow it to rain in their life. But I do think that from Sunday until Wednesday, there will be a radical shift in your priorities and objectives. So if you thought that you're going to live with this mess through the rest of your life, or tolerate this car that breaks down, or tolerate this man that breaks down, think again. You're not gonna. And the world will be like, oh my goodness, where did that come from, right? Oops, I'm trying to find my stupid, oh, it's pound 6 now, pound 551. All right, so let's move now to states of awareness and consciousness. Excuse me, Libras are step 6. Just keep my palate. And step 6 is on the bridge or the staircase to of consciousness, the stairway to heaven. Is single file. We have to meet our friends and family on the other side of that line. And so Libras, you're never doing anyone a favor by trying to carry them up your steps that you have to climb. And most of the time, people skip steps in reality. So step 6, as you can see, is right in the middle. Isn't that funny? There are 12 steps, and isn't it funny that 6 is right in the middle? Now, you think that's an accident? That's the universe working in perfect harmony, right? So you are right in the middle. You really are in the fulcrum of both. You are halfway between all the signs. It's true. It's really true. And that said, what does that mean about you? That means you have to actually practice the 12 states of awareness, which is that you have to do step 0 and step 1 for yourself. Now think of this tower as your tower. You know, right there is the middle, but now think of these steps as your tower of truth. Now, in order for you to be grounded in your tower, in order to have your foundation, you have to step 0, protect yourself. Protecting yourself means anyone that wants to screw with your tower of truth has to go, right? Protect means you can't tolerate crap. You have to protect 0, then step 1, I love. Now notice your step in the whole little like glee musical of life is step 6, which means you're not cued on the stage until step 6, which means that mankind doesn't balance the equation until halfway through the equation, and then man doesn't balance it anymore. Mankind, humankind, womankind. So in other words, Libras are so obsessed with what? Actually step 11, IB. They want to be balanced, they want to be perfectly like this. But you know, your posture isn't from IB, and your posture isn't from I give and I receive. Your posture should be always from I protect myself and I love myself, and that's what grounds me. And when you're grounded, the Tower of Truth is grounded, then up on your shoulders, you can go fly up on your own shoulders and see what the view is, right? Libras have failed to ground themselves. That's what the sun in Pluto, in Capricorn is in the 4th house. They have failed to put in that foundation of protecting and loving themselves, then feeling that, then believing it, then belonging, then thinking they can do it. Then you start to balance what you have there. So I hope this is helpful to you. You know I love you. All right, so, but I still get my own keys confused. So now going to the conclusion of the horoscope, we're going to dive into how to keep that balance all the time. And I have a simple formula that I have borrowed from somebody else, which is the party culture actually in the United States, because out of it came something quite beautiful known as PLUR, peace, love, unity, and respect. This simple phrase actually, I think, will heal the world and create world peace. I'm not kidding. As an astrologer, I've looked at this 1,000 times, and I think this is the simple formula we must adopt. It starts, of course, with peace. Now, peace is of the utmost importance for Libras and Libra risings, because you are the artist, you are the peace artist, you are the one that wants to maintain and keep peace on earth. So how do we do that? Well, I just showed you the secret. You have to have a peaceful inner verse in order to create an outer verse of peace. Now for you, that means you have to have love and trust and protect yourself to ground your innerverse, right? And then you can balance things in your outerverse. Most Libras are not feeling super balanced in their innerverse before they go out in the world, before they do things. Most Libra risings are not, I know. And so balance your innerverse and bring it to peace. Then go out and do outerverse activities. Love. Now, love is the most exciting part of all of this. And I think for Libras, love and Libra risings, they definitely want their love, right? And love will happen. There's no question about it. In fact, we're moving towards some awesome energetic love as you move later in your life. No matter what Libra you are, I can tell you that you're only going to fall more and more in love with life as you move forward. All right? Now, that said, where is it now? Well, good question. When it comes to innerverse, the truth is that you have to start with loving yourself on the innerverse, and that means that you have to come first. And see, this is very Aries-like and non-very Libra. Actually, Libras do put themselves first, but they put themselves first only after recompensating, feeling taken advantage of. So Librans never put themselves first. Librans put themselves first after being second, thereby coming back as first, which is not your total I protect and I love, now is it? So in relationships, in marriage, in partnerships, this is where I don't think Libras are loving their innerverse. I don't think they're loving themselves in their relationships. I don't think Libras are loving themselves at work. I don't think Libras are loving themselves. So a Libra is right there to be there for someone else. And a Libra rising is too, but I don't see a Libra right there to be there for themselves all the time and love themselves on the innerverse. Now, if you love yourself on the innerverse, you will draw people in the outerverse that also love themselves. If you don't love yourself on the innerverse, you will draw people in the outerverse that don't love themselves, right? So what happens is they don't love themselves and you don't love yourself. But guess what? You're a Libra. So in the two, guess who ends up giving up their lunch? You do. Because they're like an Aries, the opposite. That's why I chose that. And that would mean that they wouldn't ever think of giving up their lunch. So who's going to starve? You are. But who's both coming to the table the same way? Both of you. So this is where the physics of the universe will help you. Love your innerverse and watch for people who love their innerverse when they walk in the door. Right? Love. I love love. Unity. Unity is a hard one, I think, for Librans because they're so willing to kind of throw it all to the wind in order to rebalance the equation. And so you throw yourself out of disunity all the time. Libra risings too. Put yourself in these situations. I see it, and it drives you scatterbrains, and boy, do you feel it afterwards. And so you have to maintain a united state of awareness. Your innerverse has to be united, which means that you can't have angels and demons on your shoulders, arguing with you. You have to come to the table already unified, already decided. Ooh, that's a bad word in the Libra dictionary, decide. That's because it has side in it, which is death. Well, the truth is every death is a beginning. Every decision is just waiting to be reversed. It doesn't really matter. You have to make a decision and decide, and I think that's what creates disunity in Librans is they are undecided walking in the door. Why would you go undecided walking in the door? Well, I want to hear all the information. Okay, but I think as a Taurus, and this is why people go, you're stubborn, is because I walk in decided, but I walk in willing to change my decision. But at least I walk in strong. I'm like, I've already decided, you're guilty. But I'll listen to the evidence, and I know I will listen to the evidence, even though I've already decided. And when I do, if I'm wrong, I will totally reverse my decision inside. Why? Because I'm arrogant and want to be right. So at the end of the day, Librans need to walk in decided and unified in their life before they go try to do business anywhere in the outerverse. My advice from Witecki. Then respect. You got to respect yourself. They mean that with a sense of boundaries. And this is where Librans have a problem with Saturn and Scorpio. Librans do not respect their own values. They have values, but then they'll throw them to the wind in the excuse of, and this is where Librans and Aries are very similar. You both have hero complexes. I'm sorry, it's true. I have a teacher complex, fine, I'll take it. I have a royal complex, I know that. But you have definitely, I'm just saying, a real complex about this. So you must respect really your own boundaries first before you're willing to be a hero and throw everything to the fire for a romantic, beautiful story. Like, are you taken care of? Do you have a blanket? Are you shivering? Because if you're shivering and not feeling good, you have to respect that a part of yourself. Because honestly, you disrespect that part of yourself. Librans throw themselves into the fire because they're already not feeling good to begin with. They throw themselves in the fire, then they're freaking out and they're saying they want to help you. This is what it's like to receive from Taurus sometimes. Just saying, I do love Librans, so don't get me wrong. So if you respect your inner verse and your limits, your step 0 boundaries, then the world will respect yours as well. And it's about respecting yourself. This is where I think it is with the inner verse of boundaries. All right, so I cannot believe how long these horoscopes are, but I'm having fun. So come on down to soulmart.me. I've got a new thing called a Megascope, and the Megascope will dive deep for a full month. I'm recording Aquarius right now, and so I'll have Pisces and so on and so forth. And I'm just going to whip these out and make them good, and they are different than this. So they get a little deeper. They're for the people who are ready to get deeper. All right, and if you're like, this was deep, I'm like, oh, good. Glad you think so. Now also, the 2014 Rockin' It sale, you get me for 1 hour for 99 bucks. And then you also get a free 15-minute follow-up anytime in 2014. So Librans, you know, you want 2 for 1 anyways. This is not quite 2 for 1, but, you know, come to think of it, I would adjust the time. I'm thinking about it if you want to make it more balanced and do it that way. That's how I should do it, actually. Good, thinking out loud here. And then lastly, for you females out there, I'm launching a new GA Venus service, which is only to watch over single ladies. Not kidding. So this is a service for single ladies, and it is going live with a beta test of it on January 17th. And that said, if you want a free 1 week of that test, come on down to gavenus.com, register your stuff, and you can see this remarkable service. A lot of people asking, where did the people of Soul Garden go? Because we went off the air. They are repackaging themselves right now to serve the ladies, because my personal belief is if we help the women on earth, then the women will probably help the men. But if we help just the men, I don't know if the ladies will be helped as much. So it's just a strategy in our spiritual business plan at Soul Garden. All right, that's all I have for my step 6 people. That was a great little comeback, wasn't it? 17 minutes. I'm proud of that. And I'm proud of you. Are you proud of you? Make sure that inner verse is shining, and I'll see you in 7 days. Until then, live, love, be.